Hello guys and welcome to today's Los Blancos podcast. Today we are doing a post-match review after what was a horrible game in the end. 4-0 against Barcelona. We lose at the Bernabeu. And it was just an atrocious performance, atrocious result, and it definitely stings. You know, this is another one of those humiliations against Barcelona, and it just seems like it seemed like it was kind of inevitable since how we were playing going into this game, and then how Barcelona were playing going into this game. But you know, that second half against Dortmund gave me some hope to say that maybe we play like that. And to be fair, the first half was alright, it was better than usual, but that second half we just surrendered, and it was one of the worst performances I've seen from Real Madrid, which has been kind of a highlight of this season, which has been a common recurrence so far this season for Real Madrid. And you know, just to look at the context after this game, the 42 games that we were unbeaten in La Liga, that streak has now been snapped. Our Bernabeu streak also has been snapped now as well, which is a bit longer than the normal unbeaten run. And Barcelona are now 6 points ahead of us. Next week we go to Mestalla, which again is not an easy game, and it just looks like everything right now is not good for Real Madrid. So, what are your thoughts on the overall result? I can't imagine that they're going to be too good.
Of course, I wasn't that disappointed in the first half. I actually thought that we were okay. I just think that maybe it's just those smaller issues that we have to fix, because if you look at it, the floodgate just really opened up after that first goal, So, of course, really disappointed by the events. But if I'm looking at it in context, I think that there's a lot of small issues that need to be fixed, before we can move forward. It's not just about we had a bad performance, we have to look. I think that there are some slight changes that need to be implemented coming up soon in the next coming months.
Yeah, I think the inevitability of this result, I think, is what hurts quite a lot, is the fact that despite all of our transfer business, despite all of us a brilliant squad building over the years, despite us winning a double, a Champions League and La Liga double last year, despite all of that, us seemingly getting better than Barcelona, us seemingly doing all this over Barcelona, doing all this, and then it is still, you feel like it's just, I don't know how to express it, but it's brought back to reality, everything, and the fact that in a 4-0 result.
Yeah, I think we thought that probably would have been like miles ahead of Barcelona by now, seeing that they were struggling for the past few seasons, and normally I would say that we have to take advantage of it and win as much La Ligas as possible, because they're not a team that will be going for a long time. But I don't think we did. We won La Liga, we dominated most of the trophies, but we didn't take advantage of it trophy-wise. And of course now, I'm not too sure how the length or the extension of their financial situation, but they are in a good position in terms of how they're building the squad. I think with us, how we build the squad, of course, we have the finances, but I think they're still selective. I think one at a time. So do they ever go for players that they need that can fit their profile? So of course, for example, everyone knows that we are now short fullback, right back due to injury to Carvajal, and we need a left back. According to the club sources, we need a left back, but we have two excellent left backs that we can utilize. We can keep Fan Garcia to go and develop, because at this time he would have a better performance than Mendy. We have Mendy in the team because of a defensive look. But if he is not contributing defensively, then it doesn't make sense that he starts out, because Vasquez, we need a fullback, another one. This can't go and continue. And it would be disappointing if there was sees fixtures like this. Then maybe we beat AC Milan and Valencia and Osasuna, and then they say, we are fine. We will trust Ancelotti to deal with it, just like he is dealing with it now. I can't be upset at Ancelotti if things doesn't go as we have to.
Yeah, I mean, it's we've lost against Barcelona over the years. You know, this isn't a new occurrence. I've seen a lot worse from Real Madrid. You know, a lot worse performances against Barcelona from Real Madrid. If you remember, a couple of years ago, we lost 4-0 as well. You know, in Carlo Ancelotti's tenure as well. So it's happened before, but the difference is it just feels a little bit different, because I think that 4-0 a couple of years ago, it did feel like a bit of a freak result, and here it just feels like it's been coming. It's been coming, and unfortunately, fortunately for us, but for other teams, they haven't been able to take advantage of the fact that we haven't been playing well. We saw against Dortmund, we definitely deserve to lose that game. Dortmund should have been able to hold out that game, but you know, thanks to our comeback ability, we came back, scored 5 against Dortmund, and everything looks well. It's just, it feels like, you know, this has been coming, and you know, maybe this is the result that they need to give a kick up the arses a little bit, but it's just, you know, the fact that it has to come down to this every single time. It feels like it always comes back to getting humiliated against Barcelona for us to get our acts on and finally play well. I don't think this is just a very annoying thing that keeps on happening, and you know, I don't see it changing, to be honest. In the next, I don't see our performances changing in the next next few weeks, next few months maybe. I just don't see the way this management can fix things, because I just don't see the way that these guys can problem solve. Maybe they do. I'm not suggesting anything radical at this current moment in time, but it's just, I'm not very hopeful for the next few weeks at least. And yeah, I mean, what can you do? So yeah, I mean, what were your thoughts on the next few weeks and what this means for us, you know, against Barcelona? Because, you know, when we play against Barcelona, everything you do against Barcelona, you know, it's always compared to what Barcelona does. It's always, you know, everything Real Madrid does is always compared. So what are your thoughts on this result, for what it means for us in the next few weeks?
I couldn't touch that it's not over, it's still in the season. You know, like the saying goes, it's maybe better it happened now than it happened down the line in the crunch time of the season. It was a 6-pointer and we lost, so that's one thing. So 6 points behind. Yeah, we can still come back, of course. It now means that Barcelona are the favourites. I'm not too sure if you and I saw it works in the league over the last few years, with a team that's at least broken away before Christmas. They normally win the league. So I think we have a lot of catching up to do. And in order for us to maintain that and compete on all fronts, I think we will at least have to get some solid signings over the door. I'm not thinking immediate, I'm just thinking reactionary, but we needed it even when we lost even against Dortmund, because our defense really, honestly, really and truly cannot be given up chances like that. It cannot be that easy for one pass, simple pass like that to beat our entire defense. And I guess the coach cannot coach you with certain things like position and etc. You know, you need top defenders for that. I think the Lucas Vazquez performance was poor in my opinion. I think that's something that's going to bother me, because we don't have another fullback. So of course I'm a bit bothered by it. You know, so something has to be done about it. And if we have to go to the market, then I believe it's the best possible option.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get on to Lucas Vazquez, but I think let's start, you know, with the obvious point in the performance is Kylian Mbappe, because, you know, we mentioned the first half in the fact that it was actually all right. I thought, you know, we played better than we have done so far this season. We created quite a few chances that we missed, and Mbappe himself had a few big chances that he missed. But the main thing of the game was the fact that he had 6 offsides throughout the whole game. And, you know, one of the main points that coming into the game that everyone was talking about, including me, was the fact that the Barcelona are playing such a high line, and we've got Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe that can expose it. Now, there is no reason for Kylian Mbappe to be offside. He is the best player in the world. He is meant to be the best player in the world anyway. He's the quickest guy in the world. He's the quickest man within a 20 mile radius of Madrid. There is no reason for him to be trying to get that advantage on Inigo Martinez or something like that. This guy should be easily beating Martinez and Kubarsi without any, without even breaking a sweat. This guy can stay 2 steps behind Inigo Martinez and still win that race. So I don't know why he's constantly getting so far ahead. It just didn't make sense to me. It's something like you remember Timo Werner used to always be offside. Darwin Núñez, these guys who aren't as intelligent as Kylian Mbappe at doing something like this, where you think Kylian Mbappe, after this is his main strength, his pace is his main strength. You'd think that Mbappe has this offside thing locked in his mind, when to run, to bend his run, and he has had that done. So I just don't know why it just didn't click for him against Barcelona. He was so offside, and it was so obvious that he was so offside for it seems so obvious to me watching the game. It seems so obvious that this guy has to run back and make sure that he stays on side, because he can beat anybody in that defense in a race. So I don't see a reason why he needs to get that first step to try and get an advantage. It just didn't make any sense for me. And it cost us in the end. And he scored 2 goals which were offside, but the chances that he did get which were onside, he missed. And I don't know what happened with his finishing either. He was really, really poor in front of goal when he actually got some chances that weren't offside. And it just feels like the moment I felt like the game changed and we lost complete control of the game was 2-0 down. Mbappe has a chance one-on-one with Iñaki Peña, and he just hits it straight at him. And it felt like at that point the game's gone. The Real Madrid had lost complete control of the game. And in other games where we would have come back, that would have been the point at which Real Madrid start to mount the comeback. But at that point, Kylian Mbappe misses that chance. We lose our heads. And every other attack Barcelona bring up the field, they bring up a 3v3 situation, and it just felt like that was the point at which it was all lost. So, what are your thoughts on Mbappe's performance?
Yeah, definitely. I also think that, if I'm being honest, there is some changes that I'm not too shocked about. But if I'm being honest, I am not really surprised by the events. If I'm being honest, but if I'm looking at it. There are some slight adjustments that I must see for the upcoming game, but I think it's going to take some time to be implemented. And I'm not shocked by anything, but in relation to Mbappe, I'm not going to come down too hard on him, because you actually hit the nail on the head in everything with Kylian Mbappe. But he should be doing better. But I think he has so many excellent runs. I'm sure the course of his career, that it's difficult to just come here and criticize him and say that he isn't doing some career. I think that we have to have a bigger sample size of that in order to question it, and I'm faulting for that. But if I'm being honest with you, with Mbappe, it's not just the offsides. Sometimes his touch isn't that good. Sometimes his final touch isn't that good to finish. Because he's having those big moments where you say, okay, yeah, he's here, he's arrived, but then he's having these matches when you can question his finishing, you can question his strategy, you can question his defensive book. Some games that's not the case. So I'm not sure if it's just we need to be a bit more patient, or Ancelotti. In my opinion, the main thing is that Ancelotti is yet to find the system or the formula, to keep this team going. The team is still very much trying to fit them into a system, or into how you can work the team in the best possible way. So I think that's why the team is struggling. That's why he's struggling.
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing about Mbappe is the fact that the reason why everyone thought he was this Ronaldo regen is because of his mentality. You just felt like in games, this guy had that killer instinct. He had that, whatever happened, the World Cup final, this guy steps up and scores a hat-trick. That's unprecedented, right? it just feels like, and I felt this for a while, and I didn't want to say it really because you don't really want to say that about your Galactico level signing but it just felt like in that last season at PSG, he just lost that a little bit, and I didn't want to say it, but then in the Euros once again, he just felt like he just didn't have that killer instinct for France. And so far, this Real Madrid season so far for Kylian Mbappe, he looks tame. He doesn't look like a killer in front of goal. He doesn't look like he's going to take the game by the scruff of the neck. And I just think that's the main thing I'm worried about with Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I'm not so sure of his sharpness, if he is lacking confidence, if he needs to get accustomed to the position and see he's on the pitch, because he does good things, and sometimes, it just seems that there's something is missing. We can go through all aspects of it, but I just think we have to wait a while, just have a bigger sample size of what the true issue is, to be honest, because I honestly do believe that he would catch fire soon, but I think that with every international break, every injury that the team has, it's just slowing down everything. But that should never be an excuse, in my opinion, for these performances, because Barcelona and Real Madrid started the season at the exact same time. Hansi Flick is a new coach, Ancelotti has been here for years. This stated that he prepared for Mbappe's arrival next season with some of the formations that he played. So we should be here and we should be ready. If we wanted Mbappe in the team for so long, Ancelotti for a long time, Ancelotti has been our coach for a long time. So are you telling me that Ancelotti didn't think ahead how he's going to set the team up when Kylian Mbappe was here? And many people might say that maybe Toni Kroos left, that maybe messed up the entire process. But even if Toni left, I think that adding Mbappe to the team would have still been a struggle, because there's more options in midfield, and that's going to be a bigger task, to find the right balance, So if we knew we were adding him, then maybe something should have been done in order to incorporate him. Mbappe isn't entirely at fault. It's also on the coaching staff, but he's definitely not innocent in all this. Not innocent. He's definitely has some blame in all this as well.
Yeah, I mean, you give me a perfect opportunity to transition to Carlo Ancelotti there, because there is no way that this Real Madrid and Barcelona squad are 4 goals apart. There is no way that this is the difference in the two squads. There is no way that, from what we've seen from Barcelona, which is they've been playing like the best team in the world by far, and Real Madrid playing like an average team. This is not a Champions League winning level team. This is not even a La Liga winning level team. And if Atleti were a little bit better, we could be easily talking about third place Real Madrid team right now, which is that is unprecedented for the recent years anyway. And that all comes back to Carlo Ancelotti, because this team, for me, I think has been showing consistent issues, but has then been showing different issues. When Carlo Ancelotti tries to change things up, he presents himself with new problems. You saw him putting Jude Bellingham on the right, and we saw last week as well. He put Jude Bellingham on the right against Celta. It didn't work against Celta Vigo, and then he persists against Barcelona. And it just seems like you are completely neutralizing any effect that Jude Bellingham can have on a game in terms of the offensive end. He just couldn't really get involved in the game on the offensive end. And then he has to do so much defensive work. It is ridiculous. He has to be ultimately a second Fede Valverde in the defensive end, and it just causes so many issues for yourself. Why would you do that? You've got two other midfielders who are physical beasts with Camavinga and Tchouaméni. Let them take some of the load. I don't understand why Jude Bellingham has to do all of it, and then you cause yourself more issues defensively with these two centre-backs having to step out, which caused the first goal as well. It just seems like Carlo Ancelotti is doing stuff that is causing himself more issues, And he's been doing that so far this season, trying to tame the problems, but it just hasn't worked whatsoever. And I think that all comes back to Carlo Ancelotti and his staff, because it just has not worked so far this season. They haven't figured it out, and it's caused this Real Madrid team to look mediocre at best, and that's just the pure fact of the matter. So, what are your thoughts on Carlo Ancelotti right now?
Yeah, I share the similar thoughts. Of course, if you look at it, the coaching of the defense, in my opinion, and maybe the work Barcelona put in coaching their defense is maybe was to won them this game. That's it, in my opinion. That's it. Our defense look vulnerable in the second half. We also look like we weren't organized or didn't have an idea how to shape up. So I think maybe the coaching of the defense is maybe the turning point for this game. So that's my opinion.
And one more thing I would like to add on Carlo Ancelotti is the fact that every week we go to a new team and we play them, and he gets tactically outclassed. It's this week against Hansi Flick, and then midweek, up to a point where Nuri Sahin had Dortmund playing like they were the champions of Europe last year, and we were just a team of nobodies, right? Last week, Claudio Gonzalez for Celta, he did exactly the same thing. He was completely just dominating our team, and it just seems like every week we go to a new team, and Ancelotti just does not have any answers against a manager who is frankly just better tactically than him. Simeone, every time we turn up against Simeone, there is no way Atleti should be able to take this many results against us. But every single time we turn up to Atletico Madrid, they manage to take a result. If we go back to the seasons of Zinedine Zidane, this guy always used to turn up to Barcelona, and bearing in mind it was a worse Barcelona side, but every time he used to go to Barcelona, it would never be a matter of his team being tactically outclassed by Barcelona. But how many times have we seen Ancelotti get outclassed by Barcelona? In this fixture again, it doesn't matter if it's against Hansi Flick. It doesn't matter whether it's against Xavi. It really does not matter. But he still gets outclassed, and that for me is inexcusable. And I've seen a lot of Carlo Ancelotti out comments on Twitter, etc. But I wouldn't go that far, because the solution is just not there in mid-season. If we were to sack Ancelotti, what would the solution be? Bring Solari in for the rest of the season, something like that. I wouldn't want that. That is even worse than what we've got right now. But I don't see a reason why Carlo Ancelotti should be staying beyond this year, because if Hansi Flick is going to stay, he is going to do this every single time, and I don't think Ancelotti has the tactical nous to make it work. Someone like Xabi Alonso maybe could do it. Somebody like Zinedine Zidane. Those are the two realistic options. Maybe you can drag Jurgen Klopp out of the Red Bull job, but apart from that, I don't think Carlo Ancelotti should stay beyond this season, because I just don't see a way he can make it work. And this is coming off the last season as well, where he was just tactically fantastic. But it looks so awkward against Hansi Flick, and he just didn't look like he knew what to do.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. In my opinion, I did say that, but the thing about Ancelotti is that I think he might just continue to win some trophies, and that's going to keep him in the job, in my opinion. I think, if I'm being honest, there are many coaches who, I don't know, who maybe do, I don't know what to say, to maybe do more research, or maybe think harder when it comes to preparing for games, who maybe wants to improve on a tactical level and implement a style of play on the team. Many coaches does that, I think that's what maybe gives them the edge of Ancelotti. I think that Ancelotti, if he continues, he's going to stay. If he wins some important trophy this year, then yeah, I think most likely he's going to stay. I don't have an issue with it, because they've seen the sample size in 2021 that Ancelotti keeps winning trophies: La Liga, Champions League, 2 La Ligas and 2 Champions Leagues, and 1 Copa del Rey, 2 Super Cups since he came. So yeah, I think if he continues winning, then I have no issue with him staying. But if he doesn't, then I think that's where the issue is.
Yeah, I mean his record, he's never retained a league title, and that combined with our record in the last 13 years, I think, or longer than that.
Yeah, I think since 2007,
Yeah,
2008.
yeah. So combined with our record, it's not looking good for us at all right now, and I just think I don't know what can be made of it, to be honest, beyond this season. But right now we look so far behind Barcelona, which just should not be the case. That isn't on anybody apart from Carlo Ancelotti. The fact that we look so far, I can accept losing 2-1, 2-0, that whatever, but this is just like they completely outclassed us, and that's just unacceptable. And one of the main problems I think we had in the second half was the defensive shape, because for that first goal, I think it was a complete horror show. The fact that both of the centre backs stepped up, Rudiger and Militao. Initially, I thought, what the hell are they doing? Both stepping up, but then you realise it's more of the fullback's fault. Why are they both so far behind the centre backs? When you're a kid, you learn about the analogy of pretend like all the defenders are holding a rope together, right? They are so just unaligned, and then compare that to Barcelona's defensive shape, where they're just so perfectly aligned, ready to commit the offside trap at every single point and catch Kylian Mbappe offside so many times. And then you compare that to ours, Mendy keeping Lewandowski onside, and then Lucas Vazquez also keeping him onside. It's schoolboy errors, to be totally honest. And then the goals after as well. I mean, there is no way Lewandowski should be given that much space in the penalty area for Balde to put in a cross. I mean, it's an excellent header. You can't take that away from him. Like, that is a ridiculously good header to execute, but you should not be giving that guy that much space. It's Lewandowski. This is one of the best poachers of all time, and you're letting him have that space. That is criminal. Then the Lamine Yamal goal. I mean, Ferland Mendy, I just don't know what's happened to this guy this season, and we'll talk about individual performances in a couple of minutes. But you cannot let Lamine Yamal have that much space. And then obviously it's a fantastic finish on his weak foot. That's fair enough, but it's just inexcusable. And then the fourth goal. I mean, Rafinha just takes it and completely. Lucas Vazquez has 2 steps on Rafinha. He has so much space. He tried to recover that ground on Rafinha, and Rafinha still burst past him. He still burnt him, and it was to the point where Lucas Vazquez couldn't even pull his shirt back. You could see him trying to claw his shirt back, and he still couldn't do it. Like, that is ridiculous. It was a horror show defensive performance from the whole defence, and I don't think any of them deserve any leeway for that performance. All 4 of them. It was absolutely disgusting in that second half, and I think some real reconsiderations have to be taken in terms of the starting spot for Ferland Mendy and Lucas Vazquez in particular, to be totally honest. So what are your thoughts on the defensive shape?
Yeah, like I said, I think the coaching of the defense is what cost us the game yesterday. I think that's one of the main reasons, because Barcelona were organised, we weren't. They were more of a team, and we simply wasn't. Which shows that Barcelona go into a bit more tactical detail. Certain coaches like Flick goes into a bit more tactical detail than maybe coaches like Ancelotti. Like I said, other coaches maybe dive deeper into a tactical level than our coach, which is maybe what sometimes cost us. But matches like against City, against Barcelona, even Chelsea, when we lost under Zidane, that was maybe a similar situation where we were out coached. But I think with Ancelotti, the great thing about it is that if someone like Vinicius Tobias plays like that, he's never playing again. He's never getting a single minute even off the bench. And because Vazquez plays like that, which he does constantly, then he's going to play maybe a week after or in 2 weeks. I think Mendy has to be dropped, in my opinion. Fran Garcia has been better this season. If Mendy isn't doing well defensively, you can say Fran Garcia's defensive liabilities. Sometimes Garcia is fast and he can react to it now. And of course, Garcia is better going forward, and Garcia plays with more energy and urgency. So, the simple answer is just start Fran Garcia. With Lucas Vazquez, it's a bit more technical because you don't have another fullback. We can't question that now at this point of the season because Carvalho had his best season last year. Lucas is a good backup, but he's not a good starter in my opinion at this point in time. Maybe in the 2021 season, that season he'll have been a good starter, but not now. So I have to question Ancelotti on when will it end, to be honest. So that is a bit disappointing, to be honest. Because I think there's a different life for certain players. So that's a bit disappointing.
I mean, you nailed it with Ferland Mendy. I think if he's not providing anything on defence, what is he providing? He's just a body in the defence at the end of the day. And it just seems like every single chance Lamine Yamal had to run at him, Ferland Mendy just couldn't do anything. And it's like, if this was last season, Ferland Mendy would be fantastic and he would be locking Lamine Yamal up. But I said before the game in the preview, I said, we give Ferland Mendy one more chance to prove us that he is still the starter. But Fran Garcia has been levels ahead of him, even defensively. It's so obvious that Fran Garcia is just a much better player than Ferland Mendy right now, based on form. And for the next few weeks, I do not want to see Ferland Mendy playing because he just provides absolutely nothing to the team. He is a liability right now defensively and going forward. So I wouldn't at all consider Ferland Mendy for the next few weeks. He deserves to be dropped. And then in terms of Lucas Vazquez, I understand that we've got no right backs, but you have to find a solution. This can't be just, oh well, Lucas Vazquez is playing totally shit. Let's just persist with him. That can't be the case. At the end of the day, you have to find a solution. If we remember with Zinedine Zidane a couple years ago, when both Lucas Vazquez and Dani Carvajal went down, we switched to the 3-back. Now, obviously, this came to hurt us eventually in the game against Chelsea, where we just couldn't cope with the constant waves of pressure. But it was something, it was something that helped us, tide us over for some games. And it helped us get over some games and with our right back. And we have to find something like that. This team is completely capable of playing different ways. We've got versatile football players. These are some of the best football players in the world. They've got some of the best athletes in the world. You've got guys who can play in multiple positions. Try and test that out. If you want to put Fede Valverde at right back just for the time being until January, do that. That's fine. If you want to play Eder Militao at right back and then put Tchouaméni at centre back, fine. Try that. You can try different things. If we remember a couple of years ago, Zidane put Marvin Park at right back. Marvin Park was nothing special. He was never going to be some ridiculous right winger, right back combination, but he was a solid enough player to tide us over for a couple of weeks, and that's what he did. And you've just got to find solutions like that, just innovative solutions that can keep you going for an extra week or so. That's something that you need to find out. But I just don't see it with this current manager. The fact that he can't do it. He can't find the solutions, and he can't act on them. So I mean, yeah, that's all I got to say on the defenders right now.
Yeah, that's a bit disappointing. That's a disappointing one because I'm not expecting Ancelotti to do anything new, to be honest, and that's the thing. There is a report that came out today saying that Ancelotti knows how the team must react. He said that following the Lille game as well. That was the report then. And so it's always saying that a reaction is needed immediately, but the next game I think I'm going to expect the exact same thing against Valencia away from home. The defense is Valencia isn't that good of a team in terms tactically. So I think we're going to get the job done, but it's going to be a bit tedious. Then when we play maybe a coach with some kind of tactical insight, we're going to struggle a bit. We're going to beat Milan in the Champions League, in my opinion. Or we might draw. But we honestly need to have some kind of tactical insight into this, because nothing is expected to change, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think honestly with Ancelotti, I think he has to at least be less stubborn when it comes to using players like Arda and Hendrick. I understand that they keep Vinicius and Mbappe on the field, and many people are saying, yeah, take them off, but these guys can decide a game in less than 5 minutes. So you keep them on the pitch. You keep Bellingham on the pitch. I'm not upset about that. You keep your best players on the pitch if you're trying something. Because if you have nothing, you keep your best players on the pitch, because they can decide a game. Cristiano, when he had a bad game, he can turn the game in 5 minutes. He can score a goal out of nothing. Mbappe can do that. Vinicius can do that. Bellingham can do that. And Giroud can do that as well. So I understand if you're keeping them on the bench, if you're keeping them on the pitch, they're not having a good game, but try something, introduce us to something, do something tactically to maybe get them in a better position. You're keeping them on the pitch, but that doesn't mean you're going to play the same type of football and just switch the others around them. So I think that's the disappointing part. That maybe get to me a bit more. Because these are world-class players and their talent isn't the issue. We have seen the NBA brilliance on specific moments. I think it's just, like I said before, the coaching is the issue for defense and the coaching is the issue for the attack, in my opinion. And I think that's why, sometimes, it's difficult to put a team like this together, because then maybe one person might leave, because eventually what's going to happen is Ancelotti might say, okay, I'm going to go to 4-4-2 or 4-4-3, and this is my formation, and somebody's going to have to miss out. That person's going to be upset because the coach has to find balance for the team, and then that's it. And then he lost a player, because you have to be a bit more tactically flexible. So that's my piece in addition to that.
Yeah, I mean the subs. There's another thing we could talk about for hours, but the fact that Arda Güler and Endrick are unused in that game, like, I understand you don't take them off. When you're 2-0 down or something, you don't take them off because like you said, they can decide games. But you're 4-0 down, they're clearly not working. Just bring them on. What harm does that do? You're already losing 4-0. Like, at worst, what happens? What is the worst situation that Endrick gets caught offside a couple more times and Arda Güler turns the ball over a couple more times? What's the worst situation that happens in bringing those two guys on? It's and then you look on the other side. I mean, I hate to keep bringing this back to Barcelona, because I don't want to be Barcelona. That's not what I want. But you look at Barcelona and you see Hansi Flick giving debuts to guys like Casado, giving debuts to guys like Marc Bernal, giving debuts to Hector Fort, giving debuts to Sergi Dominguez, guys like that who, in Barcelona teams past, they would have never found an opportunity, but Hansi Flick gives them the opportunity. And then you see Ancelotti struggling to give world-class talents, guys like Endrick, Arda Güler, who have shown that they have the talent to change a game. And he doesn't want to bring them on. You have 5 subs and you only bring on 3. That is inexcusable in a game in which you are losing 4-0. That is ridiculous, to be totally honest. And what can you do? Like, this is, Arda Güler's treatment right now has been absolutely disgusting, to be honest. Like, how he's not found minutes is crazy in a team which is already struggling to create chances in the last few weeks as well, it must be said. And you're not bringing on Arda Güler, that is crazy. And then Endrick, a team who's struggling to score. If you put Endrick on some of those chances that Kylian Mbappe had in this game, he isn't offside as much, and he definitely does not miss as many big chances. I reckon he definitely scores at least one of those chances that Mbappe missed, and he doesn't even see the pitch. It's just like that is crazy to me how that happens. Somebody like Rodrigo would have been nice to have, obviously, in this game. I think Rodrigo would have done really, really well, but you have to deal with that, deal with the fact that you don't have Rodrigo in that game. And, I mean, the fact is that, I just look at my manager and I sigh in the fact that he just doesn't want to use these guys who are proven talents who everyone knows that these guys will be able to score, will be able to change a game if you give them the opportunity to do so. But he continues to just ignore them for these guys who are just not performing right now for him. So I'm just totally just lost in the fact that this just continues to persist. And maybe we see it again next week against Valencia, who are bottom. It must be said they are bottom, and they have been pretty poor this season. But I don't know. I really don't know right now. I'm just completely lost for words.
Yeah, me as well. Because we lost 4-0 in 2021-2022. We lost 3-1 in 2022-2023, but the score was 3-0 to the 90th minute. That's in the Spanish Super Cup. We lost 1-0 last season. We lost 1-0 in the Copa del Rey in 2022-2023 as well, when Barcelona did not have Lewandowski. They didn't have Pedri. So many players were missing. Kessie scored. He's a good player, but we all played. Our midfield all played in that game. It seems that it's never that we are better than Barcelona and we beat them. It's always Barcelona is having a bad season and we take advantage of it, like last season. So that's a bit disappointing in my opinion. I think that's my piece, because we should be dominating Barcelona sometimes. We can't beat Barcelona all the time. We can't do it. It's impossible for a team to continuously beat their rival every season. I don't expect it to happen. Eventually we're going to lose. But it's not that we lost, it's sometimes how we lost. I think that's another example of it today. And it's not that, we each have points and we lost the league, but it's how we lost the league. It's not that, Ancelotti can... It's not that I don't like Ancelotti, but it's sometimes the things that he does, it's sometimes unacceptable, because he does amazing things. What he did with Bellingham last year, how he used him last year was excellent. Not every coach is going to do that. What he did with Vinicius, not every coach is going to do that, and I appreciate some of those things. It's difficult for me to say, he doesn't know what he's doing. But when it comes to being practically innovative, I think that he needs to be a bit better. He needs to improve. I don't expect us to be Barcelona, but at least some kind of, not the style of play is what can happen. At least something that we can associate a specific squad with. I understand it's Real Madrid and the squad changes so much times. But at least with the team that you have, you need to have at least some kind of identity. And we had it last year to an extent, but this year we haven't yet gotten it, in my opinion. So when Vinicius Jr. doesn't have his best game, then that's what happens, because Vinicius sometimes is a guy that helps us, because sometimes it's a one-man show, and when he doesn't do well, then we lack a lot of spark, in my opinion. So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned how we took advantage of Barcelona last season, but in the two league games, it was Bellingham who dragged us out the hole at the end of the day. So even in a season where Barcelona were pathetic, they still showed up in the El Clasico. And I think that brings me to my one of my last points, is the fact that we got completely out-passioned as well. That should never be happening. You can get outclassed, but you should never ever be out-passioned in a game where you're getting outclassed. And it's something that Real Madrid likes to do, which is take the emotion out of the game. They tend to do it in the derby as well, but it's just, I feel like every single time we turn up for El Clasico, it feels like we're playing a different game to Barcelona. We're playing a game where we're just trying to play it like it's another game, but Barcelona play it like it's Barcelona play it like it's they play it like it's an everyday. They play it like it's a derby. They play it like it's a rivalry. And I think that's just the difference, and it definitely showed in that second half, where it just looked like Barcelona were just a step ahead of Real Madrid for the 90 minutes. And I just think that means that is changing everything, to be honest. Like that for me is what hurts the most. And I think it was quite obvious to the point where it was 2-0, and we were down 2-0, and Real Madrid just had nothing left. They had no fight left, and you could see the fans were whistling, and these guys were still not pressing. They were still not trying to win the ball back, trying to take the game by the scruff of the neck. And I think that was what hurt the most, to be honest. Like, they should have been able to win that game, but they didn't win the emotional game as well as the actual tactical battle, and I think that's what hurts the most, to be totally honest.
So yeah, at least sometimes you just need to have a bit of effort. I think that was also lacking, to be honest, because it's a Clasico, and even Zidane had Cristiano Ronaldo tracking back in his first Clasico from the right wing position. So if Cristiano can do that in a Clasico, as they speak, if he can put in a lot of effort, then I believe that these players can as well. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking that Vinicius, Mbappe, Rodrigo, whoever the attacking line is, it's difficult to follow them, because when you don't have something in place, then the midfield cannot supply if there isn't like some kind of method of playing, the go-to way of playing. So that's one, and then of course the passion, the urgency. I call it the urgency because I'm sure they have passion for the club. You can see it sometimes when they're winning, but the urgency just needs to be better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it just looked like they were playing like it was an everyday training session, to be honest, and that's not the way you should approach an El Clasico. I don't think you should let the game completely take you and you get caught up in the emotions like rounders of the past where there was red cards flying everywhere, but you certainly should not be playing it like it's any other game, to be honest. It should not be played like it was me playing against you or something like that. It should be played like it's an El Clasico, and I think that's what was lost. So I mean, apart from that, I thought Camavinga was the only real good player, I can say, to be honest. Everyone else was either average or appalling. I thought it's just like, it feels like everyone else is nullified when you're trying to make Mbappe better, to be honest. It feels like you're trying to make Mbappe better at the demise of everyone else. It feels like Jude Bellingham's gone down a notch because he's having to do so much running, and then Fede's having to do so much running himself, and he isn't able to do as much good on the offensive end. You have guys like Camavinga, who I think Camavinga so far this season since his injury has been pretty good, but it just feels like everything else is done for Mbappe, and I just feel like Mbappe isn't working right now. The team isn't working right now. Carlo Ancelotti isn't working right now, and I think this result has been coming. We go again next week, Valencia at Mestalla, which obviously is not the game I want to be playing right now, to be honest. Mestalla is not going to be happy to see Vinicius with a Ballon d'Or, but whatever, you got to face it now, and you got to accept it. Then after that we've got AC Milan, and then final game before the international break, which must be said, another international break is kind of crazy. We're at home against Osasuna, so 3 difficult games coming up, 3 games which I would not be expecting. I would not be expecting victories, especially after this performance. I'd definitely be wary of complacency from Real Madrid right now. We're now 6 points behind Barcelona, and here's the stat that I think is quite appropriate, and I think gives us a tale of the season more than the 6 points. Barcelona have 17 more goal difference than Real Madrid at this stage, 11 games played. That is kind of ridiculous, and I think that's the only thing I've got to say. Barcelona are the best team in Europe right now. They're playing like the best team in Europe right now, and they are miles ahead of any other team in Europe. And we're playing like any other team in Europe, and we're playing like a team that is just completely dysfunctional. So, have you got anything else to say on this performance before I leave it and end it here?
I think we covered everything. I think we're going to win some of these games, if I'm being honest, but it's the big ones like this that matter. I think when coaches have an idea, I think is the one that matters. But we have nothing else to add. I think there's going to be a bit of a media circus at least today. Until of course Vinicius wins the Ballon d'Or, then that can shift the focus at least for a couple of days. And now we have something to celebrate about. But other than that, I think everything was covered. I think the team knows what they need to work on. I'm sure the team knows it. I'm sure what will he have to it. That's the question for the coming days.
Yeah, I mean, I've been intrigued to see what Marca and Diario say after this game, because I doubt they're going to be too kind on players, especially Kylian Mbappe. I think that's what the headlines are going to be all about. But I hope this podcast has given you guys a little bit of therapy after that game. But that is it for today. I'll be back next week. We'll be back next week to cover the Valencia game. Hopefully we get back on into winning ways against Valencia. But that is it for the day. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.